Hi, from the meditation cushion today. So recently, I took a trip. I went up to Oregon, flew into Portland, picked up my 91-year-old mom, and took her on a bit of an adventure over to the coast of the Oregon coast. Rented an Airbnb and toured the coast, and it was really a lovely time. Travel there, travel getting back, and I noticed today when I was out on my hike, I recognized that today is the first day I've felt truly back in the absolute clarity of my life. And what I mean by that is my thinking is clear, my heart is clear, my way of being is clear. It feels like there's just a grace. And in fact, I did another video from the trail today about grace because that became very clear. So check that video out. It took me about 5 days after being back in my more contemplative, focused, disciplined, devotional life, where my spiritual center is the devotion of my attention. It took me about 5 days to regulate, to come back into a grace, which is truth, into a real just pure living clearly, seeing life, feeling life as the essential nature of being, as the peaceful consciousness, awareness that we are. Now, I'm pretty practiced. And even while I was away, I was taking walks on the beach. I was also just living naturally as I do in a more awakened state as the peaceful being, the peaceful awareness being behind all experience, that is the unwavering presence of the true peaceful essential nature of being behind all experience. I was living that during my time with my mom, but there were a lot of distractions. There were things to do. There were activities. So even though I wasn't completely out of my practices, I was enough so that it took me about 5 days to regulate once I got back. I'm bringing this up because I often speak of staying in the conversation. And it just shows how important it is to stay in the conversation about the reality of us, about the reality of consciousness. At least if that's of interest, if that is what you want, if that is of interest to you, to live, to awaken as what you truly, essentially, divinely are, and to live as that in this world of play, in this world of form, so we can be more playful. We can be not in a suffering state, not in an in and out, in and out, in and out of peace and struggle and then peace and then struggle. To live in a more of an equanimity of grace in this life is to stay in the conversation of what is really happening. What's really happening? Who am I? Truly, how does my story get in the way? Where do I fall into the personal identity to such a degree that I lose connection to my divinity? To be having these dialogues regularly is what keeps us awake. I did about a 5-mile hike today, and the entire time I was just dialoguing with myself and inquiring into the nature of life, the nature of all the different parts of my life, seen through the lens, if you will, seen clearly as peaceful, loving awareness, just viewing, scanning, engaging with my life as peaceful, loving awareness. That's what I did pretty much the whole time. That was being in the conversation of reality. What is life? What's really happening here? What is my full dimensionality? How does that interplay with this world of form? That's a pretty consistent conversation to go through life aware of what's really happening, awake. So, what does that look like, staying in the conversation? It means being aware of the conversations you have with others, doing everything you can to ensure that you have those within your life that you can talk about reality. You can talk about the spiritual nature of your being. To build a life, to create a life around our spiritual truth, our spiritual miracle, our grace. That's staying in the conversation, being aware of your activities, your entertainment, your media consumption, your food, what you put into your body, how you move, why you do anything. To keep asking, what's going on? Who's being served? Am I serving my highest truth, or am I serving my egoic need? Am I in a state of seeking? Am I in a state of resistance? Am I in a state of clinging? Am I in a state of grace? To constantly be reviewing and exploring and looking at our lives and ourselves and noticing what's happening. How aware am I currently of the truth of my being, the awareness that is being colored by experience, and be aware of myself as awareness. What does that mean? What are the different analogies and metaphors that we use to remember that? I mean, it's so nuanced that we want to review what we've learned, marinate on the studies that we have in our lives, and to keep getting more clear and awake to the spiritual reality of our lives. That's staying in the conversation. And if we don't, if we're not, then we're in the conversation of ego. We're in the conversation of conditioning and programming, reactive behaviors, habitual mind patterns. We're in the conversation of whatever our mind is making up about each and every moment. Are we aware that that's happening? Do we know what that means? That nothing's happening out there. That we're just taking in life, the world of form, and we're creating what's happening in our minds. We're creating the movie of our experience. To read, to study, to show up in satsang, to watch these videos, to watch the teachings of other teachers in the beloved teachers section of the Oasis, to engage in conversations. What is really happening? What is it to be consciously awake as awake consciousness? What does that mean? right? To play with these things, to sit with them, to look out at life and say, wow, what is that? What is that experience? And how is it being created in my own mind? And what's contributing to that? What's contributing to my experience? And what's aware of my experience? And oh, that's right, I am the awareness. And what is it to be that awareness? What does that mean? How does that feel? What changes in life when I view life through that awakened perspective of being the screen behind the movie, the sky beyond the clouds? How does that apply to my conscious waking life? That's what it means to be in the conversation. And again, I'm pretty versed at this, and I was only gone a week, and it was not a heavy week. I wasn't, way slammed with work dynamics and all these, major distractions or stressors or inputs. It was a pretty spacious week, and yet still, it was about 5 days of being back, and 5 fairly conscious days of being back before I really felt in a real stable grace. So this is the invitation. The Oasis is here to serve that. It's why we have challenges. Participate in those. They're designed. They are meant. They are there to help you stay in the conversation of reality. Attend satsang every 2 weeks. There's this amazing, beautiful opportunity to attend satsang and to rest in a deep conversation of reality, of your spiritual reality. Participate in discussions online. Share your experiences. Become a student of yourself, your whole self. This is our opportunity. And I'm honored to hold some of this space. And I'm in gratitude for the opportunity to be a part of this conversation in your life. It's the conversation that has made all the difference in my life. And it really does need to be sustained and nourished and fed and attended to. All right, my friends. Good to be with you again. All right, blessings.